Hey there, welcome back into the FAFO ICE breaking story of all time here at Occupy Democrats. You know those guys that are the Trump tough guys running around in masks snatching up kids because their job was supposed to be, according to the DHS, to get the worst of the worst who are illegal in this country. And yet in this breaking story, when you take a look at this, maybe the worst of the worst is actually themselves here.
Welcome back now to an NBC News exclusive and new questions about who will be carrying out the Trump administration's immigration crackdown. One current and two former Homeland Security officials tell NBC News that some new ICE recruits have showed up to training without being fully vetted. The officials telling NBC News the recruits were placed in ICE's training program before the agency determined that they had either failed drug tests, had disqualifying criminal backgrounds, or had not met the physical or academic requirements to serve.
Because the truth is, this is many of who these guys are behind the balaclavas running around the United States of America with badges, guns, and absolutely almost zero consequence. Here.
As a result, ICE officials later discovered that some recruits had criminal backgrounds, failed drug tests, or did not meet physical or academic standards. What's more, some recruits had not submitted fingerprints for background checks, which is a violation of ICE hiring policy. In fact, one recruit had prior charges for strong-arm robbery and battery related to domestic violence. Additionally, nearly half of recruits failed the written exam.
Oh, and as Representative Raskin notes, many of them are, maybe ex-Proud Boy Oath Keeper people that Trump pardoned here.
Why is ICE masked? One suggestion comes from the fact that we have multiple January 6 defendants who are working at the Department of Justice itself, including Ed Martin and Jared Wise. So if they're hiring them at the Department of Justice, presumably they're hiring them at the Homeland Security and ICE, and maybe they don't want them to be identified because, of course, those people were very well video documented on the day of January 6th.
And then in this breaking story, there's this guy, Jake Lang, this ICE a-hole, who was busy marching against Islam and looked away at the wrong time. Because in this breaking story, many of the ICE agents are actually criminals themselves. They're law-breaking Americans who have now been emboldened by Trump and DHS. And what's amazing is, when they F around and find out, and they actually get arrested, which is happening more and more, this is how tough Jake Lang really is as a crybaby. Check out this breaking story right here and why he got arrested. Breaking news. New footage of far-right extremist Jake Lang getting arrested in Minnesota after defacing property, kicking over a prosecute ICE sculpture. I can't love this enough. FAFO. Once again, this wasn't a left-wing Antifa terrorist. It was a far-right Christian nationalist loser. Jake Lang, this rat, crying like a baby.
Make America great again. We support ICE.
Damn, Jake, they doing you like that?
Yeah, I'm going out like that.
Damn, Jake, that's the whole
God
crew.
bless you. We support ICE. We support you, President Trump.
Jake Lang was just more violent on his own to a sitting sculpture than Renee Good or Alex Pretty were combined. And that is the reality. And by the way, this will not be, without question, the last time ICE individual winds up getting arrested for something, be it domestic violence, be it for another crime, or as we recently saw, one of the ICE agents who was driving completely blotto drunk and figured that because he was under the cover of ICE, he could just be let go to drive home. That is what we are facing in terms of how much these folks have believed and currently believe they don't have any responsibility to the American people, the laws, the Constitution, or anything else. And that falls directly on Kristi Noem, Tom Homan, and Donald Trump. You guys like and share the video and stay frosty. Enjoy your weekend.